All right, to our big debate now on the buck stops here this evening on a day when, well, cricketing ties have resumed and we're calling it a boundary for India-Pakistan cricket. Should there be a free flow of information between the two countries? The more pertinent question might in fact be, isn't there already a free flow of information between India and Pakistan thanks to technology? Both the governments of New Delhi and Islamabad may have curtailed the broadcast of news channels, especially in either country. But in the age of the internet, aren't all of these information barriers completely anachronistic? To that extent, should India positively consider the proposal made by Pakistan to lift the ban on its television channels? Joining the debate this evening, I have with me here in the studio KC Singh. He's of course a former secretary with the Ministry of External Affairs. We're also joined from Chennai tonight by B. Raman, who's a former additional secretary with the Cabinet Secretariat. From Lahore tonight, somebody whom Indians have loved and enjoyed tremendously for all of his work, but also especially for his role in Tere Bin Laden, which ironically could not be screened in Pakistan, is Ali Zafar, singer and actor. Joining us from Bangalore tonight is Nitin Pai, analyst and editor with Pragati. And we'll also be joined in a moment from Karachi by peace activist Beena Sarwan. Let me start with you, KC Singh, if I may. Let's put aside the merits or the perils of whether Pakistani channels and programs should be allowed unfiltered into and for Indian audiences. Let's go to a more practical question. Even if you don't want Indians to have full access to this programming, to this ideology, to a certain way of thinking, hasn't technology made censorship redundant?
You're talking of how much coverage it has. Through technology, the coverage will be minimal. But if you're getting it on satellite, if you're getting it through your feeds, cable network, etc., the coverage is tremendous. I think we must make a distinction here, Barkha, between there are 150 odd channels in Pakistan today. It's not like old times when there was just PTV.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, when the foreign secretaries met this time, there is a phrase in their statement which says reducing propaganda against each other. Where is the propaganda if they're private channels? Out of the private channels, 25 odd are news. I think we should segregate them. News comes later, but certainly there should be no objection to entertainment going across.
So let me understand what you're saying.
Which restores cultural links.
You're saying that Pakistan TV drama, for example, something that I certainly grew up on as a school student,
Absolutely.
watching Tanhaiya and Dhoop Kinare, and Indian serials have adapted themselves to those kind of TV dramas. Yeah. You're saying no problem with that. It's the news channels you have a problem with.
I'm not saying I have a problem. It's the news channels which have to be cautioned, particularly on our own channels. When we are debating with the Pakistanis, you can see how different the narratives are. On an ordinary issue which we understand a particular way, say Abu Jandal, the other side is in complete denial. Now, if you go to that discussion on Pakistani television, I'm sure it's going to be so much further out and further out of sync with what we are thinking. It may actually
so you're drawing a distinction between kinds of programming there, and that's an important distinction, and we'll get Beena's perspective from that in just a minute. But first, let me take this to B. Raman, who has, of course, written an article arguing against the lifting of this ban. But Mr. Raman, when KC Singh says, one, that a distinction should be drawn between news and entertainment, do you accept at least that distinction? That there is no problem, in fact, with letting in Pakistani television that is around the entertainment sector, especially when so many of their artists are already embedded in the Hindi film industry or in our cultural references, whether it's music from Coke Studio or whatever else?
No, my approach is cautious in respect of free airing of TV programs between India and Pakistan. There can be live telecast of selected programs. It can be entertainment. It can even be chat shows, for example, where we have got confidence that a certain kind of program, a restraint is observed in the discussion. There is no danger of incitement to violence. There is no danger of instigation of sections of our population. We can have a live telecast of such programs. So it's premature, it's too early for us to think in terms of free airing of television programs between the two countries. Free flow of information, yes. You liberalize, for example, the issue of visas to journalists between the two countries. You allow more Pakistani journalists to work from India. You allow more Indian journalists to work from Pakistan, etc. But television it's a medium which can prove very tricky in a sensitive situation. For example, when there are communal tensions, for example, when there is an incitement to violence, when incitement to terrorism, etc. So one has to be more cautious. Our approach should be pragmatic, and our approach should not be idealistic. It's too early to think in terms of ideology. Another point which you made is internet technology.
Yes.
See, in the case of internet and all, it's an elitist medium. There is no community viewing. In the case of TV, if you go to a small towns, if you go to villages, etc., there is community viewing. Very large number of people view these programs. So if you are going to have programs from Pakistan which are instigatory, which is incitement to violence, the large number of people see it and all, it will be very counterproductive, and in the long term it can create more harm than good for us.
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app. Fully optimized for retina display, full screen view, faster response time, and Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.